So what we're working on here is how to upholster a 2.5-inch button. This is going to be used for the 18-inch round Tuffet footstool. So you'll need a 2.5-inch button, interlocking button. You'll need a piece of fabric at least 6 by 6. I use 1-inch batting, at least 6 by 6. One of the needles I use is from Dritz's Repair Needle Kit, and it's number 1. It's called a sail needle. And then I just have a sewing needle. I use wax to treat my upholstery thread, which you'll need. I have a pair of scissors for fabric, and then my other scissors that I don't care about so much because we'll be using it to cut the batting out. I use 2 types of button twine. One is wax, one is just the nylon. You're going to need a 4.5-inch template of some sort. It can be in paper. And then I have a marking tool, and that's what you're going to need to make the Tuffet button. I've cut my upholstery thread and treated it with the wax to keep it from knotting up on you. And so both strands are together, and I've made a knot connecting those 2 ends. So then you're just going to grab your batting and your fabric, and I start going through my batting, and I'm going to do a running stitch a 1/4 inch from the edge of my fabric. So literally I'm going to go through both the batting and the fabric, and you're just going to do that until you get all the way around. Okay, so I've done a running stitch all the way around, about a 1/4 inch from the edge of my fabric. I'm also going to, I can see now that once I've got it together, there's some of the batting that hangs over. So at this time, I'm just going to do a little trimming, but just be careful not to cut your thread, or you'll have to do that all over again. So I'm just going to give it a little haircut. So there, I've got it all done, and I've ended my thread so that it's on the batting side. Then I'm just going to get my button, put it in the middle, and then pull it in. So what we need to do next is we're just going to, I've got my thread on the bottom. I'm going to go to the other side and grab a little bit of fabric. I'm going to pull the camera in a little bit more. So then I'm going to turn it, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to, pull all this fabric into the middle by sewing from side to side. So my thread is here at the bottom. I'm going to go over to this side and grab some fabric. And again, I'm going to turn it around. And here's my thread at the bottom. I'm going to go to this side. Pull it. Turn it around. Here's my thread. I'm going to go to this side. So we just keep on doing that until we have all the fabric pulled in and it has a nice fit. Then I kind of move this around as I'm going. Again, I've got the thread at the bottom. Go over to this side, pull it in, turn it around. And I can see I haven't been over here, so I'm going to go to this side. Grab some fabric. My thread's at the bottom here again. I'm going to go over to this side. And you don't take a lot of fabric, you're kind of working in bits of about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Turn it around. So I'm pretty happy with this. You can just keep going back and forth until you feel like it's done to your liking, but I'm pretty good. Pretty happy with what this looks like. So what I'll do is I'm going to just knot it off so that this doesn't come out. And then just cut that off. We've made a knot on the end and then another knot on top of it, and you're going to do that to the remaining 3 18-inch strands of button twine. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to measure it. It's just approximate. And that's just so we don't have a long tail. So when we sew these onto our button form, we don't have to cut it and it doesn't stick out. And that'll make sense as we get going here. So again, I'm just making a knot. On each end. Okay. So then we're just going to take our sail needles, what they call it, and thread it just like you would thread. So here's our knot, and I've threaded it. We're going to get our button, and we're going to be putting these threads, installing these threads north, south, east, and west. So what I do is I go down about 1/4 inch. Get about 1/4 inch chunk of fabric with the needle, and be careful. If you need to, you can use your table to kind of push it through. So you're going to pull it through, but before that thread here, the knot gets to your fabric, you're just going to slip it over here underneath your thumb. So you've made an entrance and an exit. Now you're going to make another entrance underneath your first one, and then you're going to come out underneath your other exit. Again, sometimes fabric. So then this time I'm going to pull it all the way through. So I'm taking my needle off, and you'll see that the loop is now underneath this loop. So then you're just going to tighten it up. Like so. So there's one. Then I'm going to go to the opposite side. Again, I'm going to take another one of my strands of thread. I'm sorry, twine. I'm going to thread it onto my needle. Again, I'm going to go across, so across here and about 1/4 inch down. Pull it through, but not all the way. This is going to end up under my thumb. So here's the exit loop right here, the strand. Entrance, exit, here's my knot is underneath my thumb. And then I'm going to go in again and make another entrance and another exit. And then I'm going to pull it all the way through. And again, that loop is underneath this loop. If it's not, say that you put the thread through and this is just hanging out over here, just go ahead and put it back through your loop and then tighten up so that this knot is holding it in place. And then what you're going to do is just do one here and one here with your other two strands. Okay, so here is my button completely finished. I've got my 4 strands installed, and you're done.